But I am buoyed by this Jerry Falwell tweet from yesterday. He writes, this is Jerry Falwell Jr. Sadly, the original Jerry Falwell has left the building, as it were, headed up, of course, to heaven, where guys like him go. And after the best week ever for Donald Trump, he writes, no obstruction, no collusion. New York Times admits Barack Obama did spy on his campaign, and the economy is soaring. I now support reparations. Trump should have 2 years added to his first term as payback for time stolen by this corrupt failed coup. This, of course, was retweeted by the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Card cosign.
Good tweet. Good post.
RT's equal endorsements.
I mean, this is, Donald Trump's strategy is to, and there's going to be a theme here today, actually, is to rally the support of a narrow group of people in this country to maintain the the support of his base. And we'll hear, too, I think, from Eric Blanc when we talk about the teacher strikes. For years, I've been doing this on, radio or in some form or another. And the least informed critique I've ever received about doing this stuff, the most consistent and least informed critique, has been, you're just preaching to the choir. Well, I think what people are starting to come to understand is it's the choir who actually determines the outcome of a lot of these things. It was the choir, as it were, maybe even the clergy, who were responsible for these strikes across the country, or at least the catalyst for it. And we're starting to realize that I think there's broader understanding that more and more you have to play to your base. And not just play to your base, but motivate your base, because they are the people that go out and do all the work. There is a significant percentage of the American public who are simply along for the ride. And you need to have your base go pick them up at their homes and get them involved in stuff, whether it's voting, or these are not mutually exclusive activities, but activism and whatnot, organizing. And so Donald Trump knows this. I mean, he's trolling. And he writes following that, despite the tremendous success that I've had as president, including perhaps the greatest economy and most successful 2 years of any president in history.
Tell me about it. Preach.
They have stolen 2 years of my, and then he's kind enough to put in parentheses, our presidency, in more parentheses, collusion delusion, that we will never be able to get back. The witch hunt is over, but we will never forget, which of course is a slogan about that they use about the Holocaust. We will never forget. Make America great again. And there it is. Donald Trump calling for reparations, hoping to get a 6-year term for his presidency. And, you start to figure out the calculations. I think he's thinking, if I can stay in the presidency until my 80s, I am going to bet that no court will sentence me to prison after I get out. Because, I mean, look, on a day when 500 former prosecutors say that were it not for the Department of Justice's finding that you cannot indict a sitting president, therefore, that being policy amongst anyone who is working for the Department of Justice, i.e. Mueller, Donald Trump would have been charged with obstruction of justice. The whole point why you have obstruction of justice is because it obstructs your ability to seek justice. In other words, it prevents law enforcement from being able to prove a possible crime. It's quite clear from the report that Mueller is laying out saying that there are instances where we just don't really know. We don't have access to this, but we clearly have less because of the lying and of the trading for pardons and whatnot. And there is increasing speculation and assessment of the report that basically, and in fact, Mueller writes it in the report, we are attempting to memorialize the evidence here so that it doesn't go stale for when the president leaves the office. And the reason why you do that, it's not just for the history books. And so, I'm sure Donald Trump is very, very interested in winning his second term, because it's probably, despite the fact that the White House is a little bit rougher than he's used to, and he likes Mar-a-Lago, still more comfortable than prison.
There's executive time. There's ways of making do.
Right, exactly. If I sleep long enough into the day, it doesn't bother me.
A lot of leaders, Putin, Mugabe, who, a big part of their calculus was, if I leave this specific location, I'll probably get into some significant trouble. That's definitely where Trump is at.
But and we'll talk about this later in the program. Pardoning a war criminal really sends a great message, and I'm being literal. The guy spent 5 years in prison for a war crime. So we will get to all that and more.